Okay, we are live, Blake. Happy Friday. Like we said on Tuesday, we said what the hell could possibly happen, between now and then the next thing. And I just got, between like Tuesday and Friday, well, a lot has happened.
Yeah,
We're going to find aliens. We're going to find
I heard
aliens.
that.
Did you hear about the aliens?
Yep,
Holy
Obama apparently is.
He's
Trump made a joke about it.
releasing. That's classified. He could be in a lot of trouble. Trump, he could be in a lot of
Trump
trouble.
being Trumpy,
Oh yeah. So yeah, apparently
trolling him. I think that was a troll.
the story goes. I guess Trump is going to declassify it all, but it's the kind of highest security right now. It's
Yeah,
highly classified stuff, and so the president says, "Oh, what the hell? Let's declassify it. Maybe I'll help Obama out, and I'll declassify this stuff." So your thoughts? Do you think we're going to have little green men? We're going to find them? Do you think they're there? What do you think? Where's your bias?
it's a massive, endless universe. It's up to God. God will reveal what He wants to reveal to us.
Yeah, Larry Norman once said, if there's life on other planets, I'm sure that he must know. And he's been there once already and has tried to save their souls. So a great lyric from Larry Norman talk about he's an unidentified flying object. A great song, 1970. I want to say 73, but it might be 75 or 76 for that. In Another Land. What an album.
Yeah. Well,
What a
there's definitely, biblically, I mean, as much as it explained as best as it could for the people of that era, has some, I mean, that the crossover between the veil and reality that we deem as reality, which
yeah.
may not even be viewing
But you know
reality.
what?
The fact
Here's
that
the deal. Yeah, I got it. Here's a link right away. I'll do this one because
yeah,
it's kind of interesting. This one just came across the desk. And I went, man, is this so profound? Because I'm thinking about this, like with Canada and our elbows up. Apparently, 78% of Canadians trust China more than the United States of America. Do you want to talk about a psyop in full operation? How the hell can you even think that? A Chinese communist country that even our own liberal, the most liberal Carney and Trudeau and others had said, our most serious existential threat to Canada was China. And
yeah,
now we're oh man, the stuff that we're doing with China, holy believing. All right, here we go. This explains a lot. And I love this here. People live in different worlds. Your information diet determines your reality. You got the Instagram there. I don't know what the hell that is. I have the Google Chat GPT, Wikipedia, these alternate Facebook, right? And there
yeah.
they are with their tiny little brains, and we're a big brain. We got Chat GPT. We should put MAGA in there too, to help a Grokpedia versus Wikipedia. So it really is an alternate reality, a different world you're going to get. And it really is going to change your perspective on things when you've got that kind of thing in play. Now, let me go over to this thing and kill that source so I don't have to worry about it later. But it is interesting. So if you're
Yeah.
filling your head with that kind of stuff, your world perception, world view is going to totally change. And so the things we know, especially like people that were following Q, and if you ever watching Q on X, it's exploding. The president's constantly, the White House account, one of the ministries, I think U.S. Department of Labor, throwing a lot of old Q memes out and regurgitating them and spewing them out. Of course, Epstein, I learned about Epstein in the Q drops years ago before anybody else was talking about him. We were
Yeah.
up on Ray Chandler. We knew who Ray Chandler was. Going back to 2017, this is long before Epstein made it onto the world stage in terms of the normies finding out about Epstein or that it was ever a concern. So remarkable stuff. But what do you think about that? The perception of things and the brainwashing that goes on through media. Oh, I got to get.
Yeah.
God, it just reminded me of another thing that broke, another story that broke. So go on, please answer that, Blake, while I go get this other thing.
Well, I think that's a big part of, what they call red pilled now, because they
Yeah.
get that out of the matrix. Oh, your mic's back. Sounds
Yeah, I
good.
forgot to. I've been talking with that. I got lazy.
That's okay. But yeah, anyways, you know, the fact is that we've been under a psychological warfare for a long time. It just depends when you actually start looking at the propaganda machine where it whipped up to fever pitch. Is because the fact that information can be transferred so quickly and into your hands. The day we got a mobile phone that became a walking computer, basically a device that controls people's lives,
Yes.
It is where I think it went into overdrive, right? And when they realized, that before it was radio and television and newspapers, the old traditional media. And then, you had posters, and then you had the town criers, right? I mean, this is how the information was passed before, people communicating with each other, talking with each other. But when it was slower, stuff would move a lot slower. But the fact that you can manipulate through mass it is a mass psyop. You can move information rapidly to people, and say it often enough. It's coming. Here comes that mic. It comes often enough. It comes right out of Joseph Goebbels' plan of if you say a lie, you say it often enough. People will believe it. Well, that's just kind of what it is. But
my camera's stupid.
What?
Have I got a leaf in there?
Yeah.
I just had salad.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Oh my God.
That's all good. Nothing there.
Wait a minute. I got one more. All right. Well, let me check into this. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Quick mirror check. But yeah, I think what we've been experiencing now is off the charts. And when you mentioned Canada might be one of the most propagandized countries on the planet. And when you think of North Korea believing that their leader is a god, maybe that's kind of the worst, maybe the pinnacle of propaganda.
Okay, so
Canada is somewhere just right below that right now.
Okay, we got a good one because
no wrong.
We got a good one because this kind of incident just broke recently.
Yeah.
And it's Rosemary Barton, who's with the CBC. Yeah. She's a state broadcaster, she's the Walter Cronkite of Canada in the current age. Okay. She's got a lot of pull, high profile. She got caught on a hot mic. The subject was Alberta, but we just had a member of parliament cross the floor from the Conservatives representing Edmonton, joining the Liberals. And you got to know that there's, sue me if I'm wrong, there's got to be some sort of money going into this guy's pocket for him to make
his private Brookfield accounts offshore, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure some money his account's looking a little brighter today. How about we make you an offer you can't refuse? But anyway, so they're talking about him crossing the floor, and the CBC came out with a big report saying, are Edmontonians, are Alberta, the province in the middle of a separation thing going on right now, are these dedicated separatists now getting behind Cardi? Is his popularity getting so great? They can't resist. He's fantastic. So they put out a little report saying this kind of bullshit. And you're looking at, if you're watching this shit, which Blake and I don't, you want to unplug from this. This is how you corrupt your mind. It turns to sausage matter if you do it. But anyway, here she is on a microphone after the show. It's kind of hard to hear, but she's anyway.
Yeah, they switch from one story to the next, and the mic is still connected.
Is this the hot mic moment? I don't know if I got it. Let's see what I got here.
Comes to be elected again, but there's also, the reality that some people in Alberta are kind of warming up to the Prime Minister because he has taken markedly different positions on issues that matter to them, whether it be energy development or climate change measures that he's backed off on. So maybe Mr. Genereux feels like his riding is starting to move in that direction as well.
Rosie, thank you. The CBC's chief political correspondent, Rosemary Barton, live in Ottawa. Minister of Industry, Melanie Joly, is speaking to reporters in Montreal. Let's listen.
It's because it's all made up anyway. Comes to be elected again, right. But there's also, the reality that some people in Alberta.
All right.
The veil is being pulled back. Truth can't hide.
I just want to fast forward to the end because it's kind of muffled and it's hard to hear exactly what she said. They switched to this idiot, and then when
the audio didn't switch though. That's the problem.
Yeah, so you can hear Rosemary. She gives a laugh. And then she goes, it's all made up anyways. She laughs. So clearly somebody in the background was talking to her, saying something to the effect of, do you think they'll actually believe it? Or, boy, that didn't go over. Something like that. She goes, ha, ha, ha. It's all made up anyway. Here we go. So laughter, then it's all made up anyway. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's because it's all made up anyway.
All right. So that's what she says there. Ha ha ha. It's
elbows up, all of it. And I think that's what everybody's feeling. The whole thing is a clown show, lie, and propaganda.
And just listen to the bullshit they were talking about. People in Alberta are warming up to Carney, and they're all excited about climate change. His tremendous position on climate change. It's a concern every Canadian has. Which is, this fucking, what are you retarded? I believe so. So anyway, the veil is lifted as if it needed to be, anybody with a working, gray matter would know, but here we find ourselves. So,
well, there was a really good video. I was kind of laughing watching. I think I was watching on YouTube, actually. They're not on X, but there was where they were showing Trump and it was Vance. It was a comedy skit. It wasn't them. It was people dressed like them. And it was a really good video. And he was showing this lady, I think is supposed to be Kamala Harris or someone like Kamala Harris.
Oh my God.
And they keep going, but he's done this and all these things he wanted. And the focus was all on Trump. Trump this, Trump that, but Trump's a pedophile. Trump's this. It's like, he's not in there and this and that and all these people pulling. The point is, the point of the video is it doesn't matter when the left believes something, they don't believe truth. They don't care about the truth. The truth doesn't matter to them. It's the mission. The mission is their leadership is Marxist, right? And it's this globalist corporate Marxist merger, fascism. There you go. And that's essentially what these guys represent. But the very fact when you can put the truth right in front of their eyes, they still won't believe it. They will still listen to the CBC. And I'm sure by now, because I don't watch CBC, I hate them because Rosemary Barton, people like that are propagandists. That's what they are. They're state propagandists. They lie daily to keep the plebs in following their edicts. Otherwise, there would be mass rebellion here if they didn't keep telling the lie often enough. But this just shows how the apparatus, they're laughing behind you, spending your money, spending your tax dollars, living the high life, and the arrogance in the laugh, the arrogance in the statement. I think it's more infuriating. And if anything it's done to Alberta, it's just gave them a fuel injection of octane to take the independence movement to a whole new level, because it just shows they should be running that as an ad. This is the ad we are playing. This is how the East, the Easterners being the Laurentian elite of Ontario and Quebec, think of you, Alberta. You're just a bunch of freaking idiots. And you're a bunch of yokels. They don't care about you. They lie to you. They create stories. And here's one of their chief spokespeople right there saying exactly how they truly feel after when they don't realize the mic is on. You would think after all the hot mic moments that have happened in history that these people who work within these sectors would know better. Don't say anything for at least 10 minutes.
Well, the Western Canada, I mean, way back in 1974, I want to say 1974,
National Energy.
They had Pierre Trudeau show up in Salmon Arm.
I
And
remember.
and people were protesting Trudeau. Fuck you, Trudeau. All this kind of stuff. This is not Justin. This is his dad. By the way, congratulations are in order to Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry on the birth of their first love child. Congratulations, Justin. All of Canada and of course, Katy Perry fans are rejoicing in this. Rumor has it the child will be trans, but we're going. That's not. We don't know. It's a little early to say. But anyway,
Did they name him
congratulations.
Castro?
Yeah, yeah, little cat. We're naming him Fidel.
Little, how about
Fidelio.
Little Boots?
Little Fidelio, right? Remember on the Eyes Wide Shut, Fidelio. What's the password? Fidelio. Okay, kids. Anyway, so Trudeau Sr. was at Salmon Arm, British Columbia. What a great name for a town. And he's on the, doing a train stop there. And everybody's mad at him and they're cursing him out. He just laughed at him. And he goes like this. He gave him double barrels. He goes,
right out of the train. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he goes, what are you going to do? You don't have enough power. You can't even get rid of me if the whole province decided to get behind you and try and kick me out. You can't. Once I got Ontario and Quebec, it's over for you people. So I could, with impunity, I don't need your votes. He could just blow them off, right? He doesn't have to pretend to like them. So it's absolutely corruption beyond belief. They lie because they serve the father of lies.
Amen.
But I just love things. We're in a good period right now. A lot's going on. Anybody know Victoria's Secret? Victoria's Secret. So they have Wexner, this guy, Les Wexner, owns Victoria's Secret. He's a billionaire guy. He used to be a Republican. He hates Trump, okay? He hates Trump. So they had him up on the Hill, and Jasmine Crockett, that Einstein, got a hold of him and wanted to cross-examine him. Watch and listen listen to how many times she tries to get Wexner to co-opt Trump, to get Trump, he's guilty. Let's get him. Here we go.
Did you ever spend time with Epstein and Donald Trump?
Together?
Yes.
I would answer this question accurately. I would go to some of the Victoria's Secret fashion shows because it's very important to the brand. At some of the fashion shows, Jeffrey was there and some Trump was there. And I remembered because Trump would always introduce himself to me. And I always thought it was kind of odd that he was at the fashion show because he had nothing to do with fashion. So the coincidence of them being together at an event, it could have been that, but I have no specific recollection. I never had a social or like a drink or a cup of coffee, something, that would put them together.
Okay, so just to clarify, because I want to make sure we're clear on the record, you're saying that you can recall instances potentially where Epstein and Trump were together and you were in their presence, or just a random scenario where Epstein may be there, Trump may be there separately, and then you would be there?
It would be at random. That would be accurate. If it happened, but I have no specific recollection.
Okay. Did you ever see or become aware of President Trump having a sexual relationship with a person who was introduced to him by Epstein or Maxwell?
No.
Great question.
Has Donald Trump ever discussed Jeffrey Epstein with you?
No.
Did Jeffrey Epstein ever discuss Donald Trump with you?
I would describe it, he would name drop it. So he would say things like, I know President Clinton, or I know the Pope, or I know God, or I know you. It was that kind of name dropping, but never, I can't remember a specific place, but Jeffrey
Victoria's
dropped a lot of
Secret,
names.
ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. So to clarify,
He's going to put me
you
to
believe
sleep.
he specifically dropped Donald Trump's name?
No, I'm saying it could have, and I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did Epstein ever share any information with you about Donald Trump's sexual activities?
No.
Do you have a relationship with Donald Trump?
Is this about Trump or is it about Epstein?
That you've met on before.
He introduced himself to me at the fashion show a couple of times, but I wouldn't say, hello, how are you? Like you say, met, like we knew each other. We don't know each other. He wouldn't. I'd be shocked if he remembered me.
Okay. And I know that you specifically mentioned the island, that you have been to Jeffrey's Island. Do you recall seeing any of those persons that Jeffrey Epstein would name drop while you were on his island?
No, nobody was there but Abigail, myself, Jeffrey, maybe somebody cutting grass or something. There was a maintenance person.
The lady.
I think. I don't specifically recall. I know for sure I was there. Abigail was there.
I hope our
Jeffrey
audience
was
isn't
there.
getting too
And there wasn't
stuff over
anything
there.
abnormal about the appearance of the home on the island, and the reason that I asked, just to give you clarification on what I mean by abnormal, we've heard reports of people being thrown off when they walked into his home in New York because there was a massage table that was just sitting randomly in the middle of a room. Did you see anything like that when you visited any property that belonged to Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, first to clarify, when we visited the island, there was like a Pueblo building, like maybe a one room and a bathroom or something. It was pretty crummy. And the island was crummy.
All right. So anyway, so Jasmine tries to take Trump to the crummy island, doesn't have anything. This guy goes, no, what did he get sexy? Did the president get sexy that he went? We want to know. And of course, Wexner, he goes, no, 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 no. The thing is about this beautiful bomb of a Epstein drop. Trump goes, no, 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 we're not going to do Epstein. It's all distraction. They want to do it. No, no, no. The Dems go nuts. Loser collective heads go, we got to have the Epstein. We got to get the Epstein. So they released 3,500. What? 3 million. They released 3 million pages of documentation with film, video, the whole thing. Trump comes up smelling like a rose. They got absolutely nothing on him. But we've already had 4 or 5 high-ranking Democrats resign their positions because they've been named in the Epstein files. And God help you if you are, literally, God help you, my friends. If you're a big fan of Deep Tack Pokra, whatever, I don't always say the name.
Deepak Chopra?
That guy.
Chakra?
If you're his friend, if you're following that moron, good luck to you. God is a concept. He quotes John Lennon, God is a concept. And then he goes on to say, I like the pretty girls. I'm pretty spiritual.
Look at this, and look who else it's impacted. I mean, apparently Prince Andrew got arrested. I mean,
yeah,
it's getting blowing Epstein Island's blowing up the UK. So
and it's all happened, because of this.
Do you think maybe
thing,
Trump
right?
was trying to be a nice guy for everybody there?
No.
Initially, I'm just saying, like, listen, it's a hoax,
I think Trump knows all about these fuckers.
Yeah.
Trump.
He let them open the Pandora's box.
You idiots! You want it? You want to play with the gun? Don't play with the gun. You're going to poke an eye out with that. You'll shoot an eye out. Mommy, Christmas story activity.
Well, and I think Trump is going to go on a lawsuit step up, because I've heard all these people that are going around keep calling him a pedophile because of the Epstein
He's
lies.
already won a few of those cases.
Well, and he needs to start going after some of these, notably, especially a ton of these far left blue sky nut cases. Go after them. Start nailing them hard, suing them, because
I think he
propagating they keep propagating a story that has no story to it.
Trump's a patient guy. If you notice how he's operated, he's very patient. And one day he goes, there's a lot of head fakes. He'll throw a jab at you, and so you think this is the punch, but he's
Yeah.
just setting you up for an overhand right. You know how it's like boxing with Trump.
Well,
He's like,
it's like he trolls them. That's the big thing. He's like, here's the shovel. Go ahead and keep digging the hole. I'll give it to
so
you.
So the big story, yeah, the big story today, like the Dems and the enemies of Trump, and there's a number of them, they got to be just shaking their heads. How do we stop this guy? I think some of his enemies tried to kill him a couple of times by literally, trying to end his life. But they thought, okay, we got him. We're going to get the Supreme Court. We think we can work this, wrangle it out, and we'll drop all the tariffs are going to be shot down. So I went on YouTube, and as soon as the story broke across my TV screen, because I'm on YouTube, I'm looking at all the recommended news items, and it's all Trump loses the Supreme Court. Vic lost at the Supreme. Trump's dead at the Supreme Court. Oh, it's all over for Trump. If Trump loses, illegal Trump. Oh, horrible. Notwithstanding Clarence Thomas writing the kind of the alternative reading on the take, says that the Supreme Court got it wrong, says that Trump was totally within his legal right. But having said that, he has other alternatives, and Trump just exploded onto the world stage with those alternative takes. And holy shit. I'm going to share you a few, and then we'll let Blake respond. But I'll just bring them up one after the other, kind of rapid file. We got a couple of them. Let's make it bigger for one thing, for everybody to read. Okay, holy crap. Trump just rocked the world, Blake. Therefore, effective immediately, quote, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're there, remain in place, fully in place, and in full force and effect. In other words, all the tariffs you thought were going to be removed are not being removed. Not only that, but today I'm going to sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations.
You took a look at the deficits that we had with some of these countries. It was disgraceful what they...
Beloved President, Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies. So it's a complete double down. So we share this one instead. Breaking foreign nations are now shaking because they realize the Supreme Court just enabled Trump to charge even more tariffs. The top person in Vietnam just left my office, said, you can now charge us more than before. Canada, too. And Canada, God help Canada, it's in a heaping, hoping, whooping, whooping, hurt bundle of trouble. So, like, the lamestream media had maybe less than an hour to celebrate Trump's complete defeat at the hands of SCOTUS. And now that's turned on its head. And now the news story has to be tariffs to increase across the board, 10% global tariff increase hike by Trumpy Bear. Love you, President Trump, so much. I just love you so much, President Trumpy Bear. Okay, Blake, take away.
I don't know what I can take away there outside of he's doing what he needs to do to reindustrialize the United States. And I've heard a lot of people I respect, and I mean talking heads within the economic circles that I listen to as well. And some of them are like, they're not diametrically opposed to Trump, like crazy blue-haired, purple-haired Democrats. But, these guys I would see as economic libertarians, that side of it, and they're all complaining that the U.S. currency is collapsing, and that's kind of why we're seeing the metals and all this, and it's because of the tariffs and what he's doing to do that. But you have to understand, there's a methodology that what needs to happen, and it takes time. To reindustrialize takes time. You have to rebuild. It's not going to happen in 1 year. Right? He's been in office now for 1 year and a month, essentially. And to get all the investment coming back, that's taking time. To get them to build, that takes time. And part of this has to understand that if you're going to reindustrialize your country, your currency valuation, you may need to understand that your currency value has to come down. So to do that, the tariffs, what that does is it equals the playing field against countries whose currencies are way worth below the US currency. So that's the level playing field. The only way you can have a true free trade agreement with a country where you're going back and forth free trade is you have to have a unified currency valuation. If you're going to use separate currencies, you peg your dollars to each other. Otherwise, if you have an imbalance on the currency valuation, the person who has the more valuable currency is going to lose in the trade export side. Right. So because it's more expensive for you to produce at a higher cost because you have a higher valued currency to send it to a country like, say, Vietnam or Canada. We're like, what are we at today? 71, 72, 73 cent dollar. So to understand the purpose of the tariffs is to understand it's a balancing to try and create a trade balance. And it's not purely a play to just be mad and hard on these other countries. That's the myth that the Democrats keep pointing. But Trump's doing what he wants to do is reindustrialize America. So American factories can not only just sell locally. You're not going to tariff me today, Governor.
You're not. That's Bruce Stern.
No.
You're not going.
You got to look right into the camera and go,
Governor.
You got to do the look with the eyes.
That's Bruce Stern. That's beloved Bruce Stern.
That's right. Jim Carrey's version.
No,
of
we're
Bruce
not going to
Stern
tariff
is some of the
Eddie. We
best.
love you too much. There's no way.
But
we
I
can
just want
tariff you.
people to understand that the tariffs are, it's hard when you are the country that's used to living off of basically a currency welfare check. You have been able to produce at a lower cost, dump it into the U.S. market, sell it to the most powerful country on earth financially, and they would just be basically a consumer nation. So I think Trump realized that this was an international security threat to the sovereignty of the United States, that if you're going to be the superpower on earth, you also have to be able to produce the very industrial engine to keep your military strength up.
Yeah.
The security of your own people has to be able to produce locally. If you're now 100% relying on the rest of the world, China producing your electronics, including your microchips and everything like that. I mean, that's why they're holding on to Taiwan. And that's why Trump is trying to move the technology side of industrialization of producing chips.
Get it back in the U.S.
Back in the U.S. because China is a geopolitical threat of the largest order. And I think that's kind of what people need to understand. I don't have a problem with tariffs. I have a problem with people overreacting and lying on the old establishment order like we have in Canada who want to maintain these monopolies because they have benefited on a purposely built campaign to devalue the Canadian dollar. When we were under Harper, because of the economic crash in 08, 09, for a good 5 years, we were above or at par with the United States.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we could buy stuff so much cheaper. Everything was so much better. But the Canadian industrial side, the manufacturing side, was whining like a bunch of babies.
We've always done that.
That they can't sell things as the cheapest people on the block anymore.
Yeah, and Canada, remember we had the Avro Aero, which technologically for its time was highly advanced.
Top in the world.
Yeah, it was a highly advanced fighter aircraft, and it was scrapped basically for the very rationale that you're describing there.
Well, there's an argument that the U.S. industrial military complex kind of put the boot on Canada and say, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, well, that's true too. Yeah, but it shows that globalist kind of thing. The Canadian government definitely agreed and they canceled it. Whatever happened, the Canadian government said, we're not going to try and flex on this issue. We'll just cancel.
Well, as I said, like I think our last show, we were talking about it. I look at it as there's two sets of groups in this world of nations. There's the slaver nations and then there's the freedom nations. And the freedom nations believe that everybody has a right to compete. Everybody can have a dream if they want to dream. They can own a property and be king of their own castle or queen of your own castle, whatever you want to be, it is yours. That
You
is
can have a castle.
the individual rights, freedom, and personal sovereignty, and I think that's the difference between what was happening before is these corporations were turning into slaver state managers in these third world, second world countries where they could get people for next to nothing and dump their cheap crap. And they couldn't care less about the security parameters of the problems that could come from that. And it was all about making money for them. And the billionaire class that was running this became the new nobles. And I think that's where the whole WF, you own nothing, be happy, because they knew the currency problem was an issue. But I just think what Trump is doing is he has to, and I know this is going to sound weird and it's going to be a little more expensive, but over on the long haul, it protects you. If your currency goes down in value, that means more people around the world can buy your goods.
Trump is promising about a 20% rebate for everybody's taxes this year. Like, everybody should be looking, the middle class in America should be looking pretty good when it comes to this tax season. You're going to get more of your money back than you've been able to get back in a very long time.
Well, and that's the other benefit of tariffs. Tariffs historically were a traditional way of running a taxation system, not income tax. Income tax is a slaver's tax. That basically makes you a slave to the state. It means they can control who you are and where you spend your money at the source, which is your income. Your income should be controlled on when it comes to taxation, is on what you're spending on. For example, if you're buying something, you pay a sales tax or a tariff. A sales tax is kind of like a tariff.
You know what I want to see happen in Texas? Same thing that's just happened in Florida. They are removing like property tax for people that own homes. You own your own house, you don't pay tax on it. You know what that means?
Yeah.
You don't pay property tax. It means you actually frickin' own your house, your property. It's yours. It's not the government's. They don't get any money out of that. That's your house, your property. The government doesn't have access to any of it. So isn't that beautiful? Income tax conveniently started in 1913. Congratulations. Yeah. That's when the Fed starts finding its legs.
Yeah. And when did they start scheming for that? When did they start scheming up for that? Right after the American Civil War, they began scheming that because they no longer had slaves to do their work for them.
How are we going to get our money? We got to have some kind of slave type person.
Exactly. Let's enslave them all.
Anyway, but really important point that Blake brings up there, just about how the systems work. Blake, how do you work, or how would you answer our friend Eddie on this comment? We must remember that our own corporate greed drove industries abroad. How do we fight corporate greed and keep production in America? How do we cripple the corporates from being exploitive of labor so that they can't? That option's not open to them.
Yeah, well, that's simply what Trump's doing now. Is you balance the book so that the internationalists, the globalists who want to take everything offshore and destroy the middle class jobs and move it to third world countries, is tariffs. That's what he's doing. He's saying, if you're going to play ball, if you want to play ball and sell to Americans, it's going to cost you. If it's going to cost American jobs, you got to pay. You got to pay to play. And so the way it works is the government should not be a player in the economy. It never should be. It should not be a team in the league to compete, because it has an advantage that you can't as an individual or as a company. It should be the referee. It's properly well-functioning referee system that prevents that manipulation of markets, legislative crony capitalism. Right?
Listen to this comment, Blake. I love this. This is from our friend was Steve Park. My tax return nearly doubled and I got out of debt. Isn't that incredible? That is exactly the effect that Trump wants.
Yeah.
This is what Trump wants. So I love hearing that. We want everybody should prosper. That's making America great again. When people want it, you want to know what making America great again is? A big part of it is giving you power, economic clout to determine your own fate. As Blake said earlier, master of your own castle. Beautiful stuff, beautiful. And I want everybody to get that. I'm still waiting for the tariff rebate, says Eddie. A tariff rebate. It's going to show up in your tax return, Eddie. I'll be very interested to hear your report on your own tax return. Go ahead, Blake.
To Eddie on that is make sure you vote and help preserve that rebate for the future in the midterms. That's going to be, if you want to preserve the trajectory you're on, to be able to get that and to reduce taxes, and to the point where Trump's dream is that income taxes would vanish.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you show up this fall and you get the right people in there. And it doesn't matter what party they are. There's a uniparty group that's in there that want to stop this. They want to keep income taxes in there. They want to keep the slave class working for them. You need to defeat them at all costs, including those.
Yeah.
Including
I just want to
those
kick
rhinos.
Eddie in the figure of teeth here. Hang on, Eddie.
Yeah.
I got to kick you in the teeth. But products made in the USA will cost more since wages are higher than Sri Lanka. Here's the beauty of that. We're going to tariff the fuck out of Sri Lanka. Good luck getting your made in Sri Lanka and G.I. Joe doll into America so you can enjoy and play with your G.I. Joe jolly. Don't you realize, Eddie, this is the power of the tariffs? So that's a great equalizer from good living wage versus cheap foreign goods. Those cheap foreign goods are going bye-bye. Buy American. Buy Chrysler.
Yeah, no more sweatshops. No more sweatshops.
No more sweatshops, Eddie. You don't want to support sweatshops. I get all my fine china at the dollar store. Yeah, the dollar store. So you want to make America great again. You want the industrial power at home, and you want Americans to prosper. And that's not a shrinking middle class. That's a growing middle class. G.I. Joe is made in China. We're going to fix that. We're going to bring Joe back to America where he belongs, Eddie. We love Joe.
Apparently Canada has decided to hire G.I. Joes as foreign.
Okay.
But a story.
All right.
Get to that later.
Okay, hold on. I've got a couple of things here. I do have that one in the pipes. Holy smokes. So many stories here we're following.
Oh, yeah. Canada's going off the deep end right now.
So, well, Canada's, and it's just in a world.
Well, I just as say, G.I. Joe is made in China, but China is going to hire our own military force from outside of the country now.
Well, let's get the politician talking about their great idea because it's gone viral.
So globalism at its extreme is happening in Canada. What you're seeing in Canada is what you don't want in the United States.
Well, what's interesting here, Blake, is that this development is going to challenge. Oops, wrong button. It's going to challenge a lot because I've been responding to this, and my response is, I wonder how America is going to handle this new army that's coming in that is made up of people that aren't Canadians. So let's go this one. Let's go here. This will keep Canadians safe. Minister Lena Diab. This is Liz Churchill. Great account. Follow Liz. Canada launches a new immigration category, a whole new category for the armed forces to allow recruits from the Chinese Communist Party and other foreign adversaries to merge with Canada's military. This is treason. We are under attack. I mean, look.
We will be subject to the same.
Okay,
and finally, we are creating a new category for skilled military recruits to attract highly skilled foreign military applicants. Eligible recruits with a job offer from the Canadian Armed Forces, including doctors, nurses, pilots, can be invited to apply for permanent residence. They will be subject to the same security and all military requirements. This new category will support our government's commitment to strengthen.
The only good news about this, it appears our new army are going to be all girls. They're going to be all girls. Blake, where did you go? Hold on, Blake, where did you go?
The whole thing kicked out for some reason.
Holy smokes! It all
Did we disconnect from YouTube for a brief
we
second?
Maybe for a hot second.
They didn't like the story.
It was all girls. The story is we got an all-girl Chinese army coming in on America's border. Did you guys see that, or did it just go dump on everybody? Let me know in the comments below.
The whole thing just stopped. And
Sue, were you watching this at all, or did? Okay, doesn't matter. Let's see where we are. Danger, the whole show stuff. Okay, Peanut Gallery, did you see the clip? Because I'll have to go get the clip again, for the love of God. Play the clip again. Let me know in the comments below, friends.
Everything seems to be coming back again. The chat, everything.
Okay.
It just had a brief glitch there.
Okay, well, did you see the clip, everybody? See what they say, Blake. I'm getting it again.
China blipped. Yeah, it says.
So did they see it?
Blipped? Yeah, did a blip, I guess, like what
I
saw.
Yeah, but did you see the clip?
I saw the clip. That was the thing. It kept running, but everything else kind of did a blinky thing.
Okay, so it did a blink, but then we saw the. This is what I want.
Yeah.
Is that so hard? Is that so hard? Am I asking too much? Thank you, David. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so you saw the clip. So this is Canada getting a foreign army. And the argument is this, that maybe if you're Canadian, you might have a bit of a conscience tweak. Oh, we need you to open fire on your fellow Canadians. And the soldier may go, like Russian Revolution time, the Bolsheviks, kind of, well, we don't really feel like shooting our own people.
Well, especially if you're going to hire in mercs.
Until they do. They don't feel like shooting on their own people until they do. But anyway, it's a lot easier to shoot on your people if they aren't your people.
Well, do you notice that just last week there was one of the on that? Do you ever see that Laura Babcock show up in your feed? She's a lunatic propagandist for the Liberals. She had some guy on there saying it's time for the Canadian government to stand up to Alberta because under Daniel Smith, they're trying to say that there's 100,000 guys with guns in Alberta that will be there to defend it, and Canada's going to do that. So isn't it interesting? This is all kind of announced at the same time. So who are they needing this mercenary force? Because that's what it is. It's mercs. They want to hire professional mercs outside of Canada to come be in the Canadian forces, who don't give a rat's ass. They'll just pay me the money and we'll show up and kill people.
I have a heroin problem, but I'd like to fight for Canada.
And it's right at the time of Alberta independence, right? And they're trying to ramp up the talk that there's going to be a violent breakaway, that there's no way that they're going to allow that, which says to me that the federal government's planning to cheat. That's one of the things on the election somehow.
Well,
and that they know Albertans will get mad.
We don't care about that. I don't care about the cheating. Here's why. You know why I don't care about the cheating, Blake? Because we got Trumpy Bear. Trumpy Bear's looking at these fucking communists that are militarizing on his border. You think that America, in the mood they're in, with Monroe Doctrine being talked about, Manifest Destiny, Greenland, 51st state, much cherished, beloved 51st. Do you think that this administration, oh, by the way, Mr. President, hope you don't mind, the Chinese army is now on your border, fully armed and ready to fuck you up?
Ain't gonna happen.
You know, that's not gonna happen. There's no way.
Alberta's going to get that defense it needs from the insanity that has taken over Canada.
And you and I have already talked about this. How is Trump going to do it? They asked Trump, "How are you going to take down Canada? You're going to military
economically?" He said,
"I'm going to economically crush him." You know what's going to economically crush us? We're apparently, boy, oh boy, have I got this one here? Okay, here you go. This is another one. We'll just throw these headlines.
Well, just before you press play, I just want to say one thing. The left-wing lunatic liberals in Canada are trying to say, well, no, it's not a mercenary army. It's like the French Foreign Legion. But the French Foreign Legion built the French Foreign Legion to be a colonial government to empower those outside of France.
Yeah,
the French inside of France.
In France, for the love of God.
It was to fight It
was out in the fucking desert.
Yeah, the Congo and all, they're all over the place.
They had the little North things Africa. And the outfits. And
And yet you could join the French Foreign Legion from any country in the world, but it was the point, foreign legion, not a
Yeah.
we don't have a foreign legion unless you're thinking of sending them to
Well,
Ukraine.
Canada doesn't have too many colonies right now.
That's right.
We are a colony. We're a
Well,
Chinese
that's
satellite.
it. The guns are turning inwardly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm concerned about.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got this one to go. Gee, what could possibly have happened over the last 11 years to make Canada poorer than Alabama? Bama. We're poorer than Bama. My God. Out of nowhere, Globe and Mail. This is this rag here with the gold check mark. What a comedy, the Gold Mail. This is just leftist. This is another one of these government-funded pieces of shit publications that nobody should be reading, but they're good for comedic effect. Out of nowhere, Canada became poorer than Alabama. How is that possible? Gosh, no one in Canada has a clue what could have caused that. What, Blake, any ideas what could have possibly gone wrong?
I'm doing my chicken dance.
His elbows are up. What a freaking
what can happen? How about
headline.
printing money out of control? How about telling everybody that that everywhere in the world is wrong but us? So we're going to create the most wild, insane policies that don't line up with the rest of the world. Science as well doesn't line up with science. And we became a post-national state with no core identity. So they evaporated Canada. So yeah, Canada's a mess.
Oil, we
so
have rich natural resources. We
they
aren't
locked it
allowed
all up.
We aren't allowed to use them. So we got all this wealth we're sitting on. We can't use it. And when you have wealth that you don't use, generally you're going to become poor.
That's right.
And then, of course, we're big leaders in climate change. Woo! Wow. We're big climate change. Woo! We're going to take that, Alabama. Take that, Bama.
Nearly $7,000 an ounce of gold Canadian just shows how much the Canadian dollar has collapsed in value. And everybody's seeing it at the every time you go grocery shopping every month. It's becoming like Zimbabwe, where everything doubles every month in price. So we'll be showing up with wheelbarrows of cash to go buy a loaf of bread like the Weimar Republic did in the 1920s. But the other side of that coin is that, as you said, Trump is the wild card in this to make sure that doesn't happen to Canada, because he needs to protect America's border, and we can't have it become a radicalized hell zone. It's going to change. I still believe Carney is going to make it worse, and then he will negotiate a deal that will come across as good. So I think that's going to be the end all. But there was you're right about the Globe and Mail. They just posted something up yesterday that drove everybody crazy. It was an opinion piece that asked the question is what it's like to live on the border of a fascist state, a question mark to Canadians. And I responded to that and I said, is this a question for Americans? Because you're on the border of a fascist state, and Canada is a fascist state by definition. It is a public-private merger of the socialist state mixed with the corporate state, which is by definition, by Mussolini himself, said that defines fascism.
Well, I tell you what, we're in a lot of trouble up in Canada, but this is kind of funny. This is a picture that says 1,000 words. Here's a picture of the oil deposits and minerals in America and Canada. It's just hilarious. This little blurb here, that's Alberta, boys and girls. It's like, this is Alberta. British Columbia, we got an ocean. Okay, so we got fish. We got a lot of trees and stuff. But this is where the majority of the wealth is located. This over here is Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan's pretty good too. And then Manitoba gets a little bit just in the southwest corner of Manitoba. But Alberta, that big chunk there, America, is what Trump's got his eye on. He knows what's there. So really interesting. And that's the area that's thinking a little tired of being with Canada and wants to strike out on its own. One last comment too, as regards the, I didn't put this one earlier and I wanted to do it. I'm going, I got that. We go here. share this instead. Let's do this one. Let's see. Can you see this one, Eric Daughtry? Blake?
See, no, nothing up yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's take a look. Let me go here. Hang on, boys and girls. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, let's go stop sharing and start sharing the new one. You got, okay, there's this one. Here we go. Okay, boys and girls. Again, this is the president again on an analysis by Daughtry on what we just experienced with the Supreme Court and these tariffs. Holy smokes, President Trump announced the Supreme Court has actually strengthened the president's ability to enact tariffs. Huge backfire. SCOTUS made a president's ability to regulate trade and impose tariffs more powerful and more crystal clear rather than less. There's no longer any doubt the income coming in and protection will actually increase because of the decision made. I don't think SCOTUS meant that. Based on long-standing law and victories, Supreme Court did not overrule tariffs. They merely overruled one use of IEEPA tariffs. The ability to block, embargo, restrict, license, impose any other condition on a foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the U.S. under the IEEPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. Now there's no doubt about it. The president is free to slap those tariffs, and he's done so today by adding another 10% on top of the existing
on the whole
tariffs.
world.
Yeah, on the world, on the world. So it's a beautiful thing. This is an amazing president. And, the question or the comment made here, you didn't really believe Trumpy, and add the word bear. If you're going to call him Trumpy, add the word bear, Trumpy bear. You didn't really believe Trumpy bear didn't have 10 backup plans prepared, did you? Trump's a businessman. This is all going down. I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy for America. Canada, unfortunately, with our Chinese army on the border, Blake, I know Trump's not going to let that stand. And Trump is going to cripple us. Here's the other story that's breaking. I don't have the clip prepared or anything on it. There is rumors that Trump, remember in June, the United States, Canada, Mexico trade deal is up for renewal. Trump is not going to renew that deal, at least in any form that is recognizable to what it was.
Well, technically it's a review.
It's a review.
The deal goes to 2036, actually.
It goes to 2036. Okay.
It was a 20-year deal that Trump created, actually. The U.S.
Okay. Let's go. Trump, Canada, Mexico. Because what's happening, like, what's going on with Canada, Mexico, and Trump in trade deals?
Well, we know. Well, put it this way: Canada has. I'm not as familiar on what the trade, how it's aligned on the Mexican side, but I know on the Canadian side, roughly 83 or 84% of goods are protected under the free trade agreement we have. But the point is that there's other measures within the agreement that if you're in breach of agreement, then an aggrieved party like the United States, as Trump is declaring, is, well, we don't want to be part of that anymore. You can pull out. There's nothing. You sign an agreement, you just have to give notice and we're out, right? It's like any contract. There's a term in which you say you're out. So at this point, that's what could be happening in this review. In 2026, this fall, he could just say, yeah, America's out. We're no longer going to abide by this anymore. And here's our notice. You get your official notice and it's over. And nobody wants that because it provides instability at that point.
Well, here's what Canada doesn't want. Canada doesn't want this. Breaking, Trump considering a North American trade pact without Canada.
Well, that's just Mexico.
U.S. officials began meeting with the Mexican government about the trade deal in January. Canadian expectations in Ottawa for full renewal of the USMCA are now very low. Source says the New York Times, so take it with a grain of salt, New York Times.
Well, notice the language, full renewal. Like there's things that go to 2036.
Yeah. So what's going to happen, though, is Trump can cripple it till it's practically meaningless. And if Trump does this bilateral agreement with Mexico, that will further marginalize Canada. Here you go, Canada. Go play with your retard friend China. And have all the fun in the world, except not militarily. I will kick
Yeah.
your ass if you even think about it. And so Canada, the pressure in Canada is just the noose is tightening around Canada. If if there's a vice, it's tightening by the minute.
Everybody I've heard talk about it says the same thing. It's not the Canadian people overall. It is Mark Carney and the Liberal establishment. And we have an establishment here that is an old order that is connected to the United Kingdom that still believes Canada is still part of that old world colonial belief system that the UK still governs from afar. And I think Trump's breaking it. I really do. I think that's the whole point of this, is to finally break it. And once the UK has got their dirty little hands out of managing Canada from afar, because they're the only ones that have that kind of apparatus to be able to manipulate to that level, as we know from our great show that we watch, Promethean Action, is that the focus should be on the UK. Canada is the staging ground for these guys. So I think Trump is literally standing over them saying, we'll just keep busting you until you finally get the UK out of managing your country. And we're done with foreign operators. And then that takes China out of the picture, because let's face it, China and the United Kingdom and the EU seem to be on the same page. And if the EU is going to continue to collapse, and that's why Marco Rubio's speech was so important, because he was trying to reinvigorate nationalism in the in the EU. Be proud of your countries. Do not be taken down that path any further to become a post-national state, because that's what they're doing
up the wrong tree. Yeah, but he's just, here's the thing. My take on the administration, they're just laying the law down. Whether Europe wants to play or not, it doesn't matter. Trump just did a speech. He mentioned Canada by name and some certain European countries that are on his bad boy list. He's got his bad boy list. And Carney's one of them, the governor of Canada. He's been reduced to governor. I'm telling you, I am convinced. I agree 100% with you. Trump is going to break it up. Like Canada, whatever's going to happen, it can't go on the way it's going on. And right now, Carney is leaning hard into China. We're all in on China. They're our pan. Are you planning to go to China? We just got a new deal. Apparently, Canadians can just go to China without any hassle at all.
I think I've probably got an X on the back of my head from X, because if I was to show up in China, the stuff I've said about China, they'd be like, you with us.
Yeah. You in here. You go in cage. Yeah. Oh, my God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are thrilled to be here each and every week. We do 2 shows a week, one on Tuesday, one on Friday. We call it the Political Nooner. The channel is Ghost Town Politics, with a big salute to Blake out of that for his work with ghost towns, and his research is top tier. He's been doing it for years. He knows a lot. He's taught me a lot personally about the gold rush and about even Canada, our history here out here in Western Canada. So I'm always grateful, Blake, for that. So we'll be back Tuesday. I'm just so happy. Like, the left came out, the media was all there with their big story. Trump loses on tariffs. Wait till he loses on tariffs. Trump loses. Within an hour, the whole story, the script had flipped to Trump now throwing a 10% extra duty on top of everybody. Unbelievable. So thank you. Yes, thank you, Kimba, for being here. Everybody, we appreciate you all. We don't want to be shouting into a vacuum. We want those ears of yours to hear the good news about what's happening with this current administration. Great stuff. I'll be back 4:00 today with my Patreon people, and I look forward to doing that. I just got a treat in the mail. We'll talk about that and some other things. And Blake, as always, thank you. We'll see you Tuesday. Bye for now, everybody. Thumbs up on TV.